I looked at this morning. So XU. Actually, let's back up. This is the Ellis's tweet. Let's go to the original. This is that's like a reaction of a reaction. The original is right here. Sources: Spica to join Dignitas for LCS Summer Split 2024. So now their roster looks pretty crazy. This is hypothetical, but their roster is Licorice, Spica. We don't know who their mid is. This is purely speculative that it's Jensen, but it might still be Dove and Sven and Isles, which is actually pretty good. It sounds like a roster that could contend for the title. From my just cursory glance, I think Spica is a top player in his position. Licorice is a top player in his position. He really proved it last 2 years. It's crazy. Him and Sven both didn't find a team. I understand that Sven was playing support for a year and a half, but I do think that when I competed against Sven, he was an elite level 80 carry, and I do think Isles is actually very good and very underrated. This guy flies under everyone's radar as just oh, who is this guy? Never heard of him. Some Oceanic import, but I think he's really good. Mid is kind of a question mark for me. Dove didn't really impress me too much last split, but still is 3 out of all of Korea. I mean, guys, let's not be delusional here. None of us are talking about rosters that are winning worlds, but yeah, I think Spica is an upgrade over XU. But what really sucks about the whole thing is this part right here. XU saw this leak and he posted this. Nothing in esports is guaranteed. Less than 2 weeks ago, I was reassured by my GM and head coach that I was a lock for the upcoming LCS split. We were supposed to start scrims in 4 days, and I've just been told I won't be on the roster. Not sure what I plan on doing yet. And the second part says, we'll most likely join an NACL team and go back to Berkeley in the fall and see what opportunities arise next year in spring. Thank you, Dignitas, for the last 2.5 years. I'm extremely grateful that I've had the opportunity to compete for you guys. Probably going to write something about my future plans and feelings, but right now I really don't know. So the whole thing is very sad, and it's actually very esports. It's kind of like an esports trope at this point. How many times have you guys heard about somebody who had been told by management, faceless, unknown management? Typically, it's either the GM or the head coach or even the C-level executives. You are safe. You are 100% a lock for the roster. And then some crazy shit blows up, right? Like either the team evacuates the league, like they sell their spots, or the person gets replaced. And this really sucks because I think a lot of people really like XU. And I think that he's a good player. Get it in writing. No, that's never going to happen. Happens every day in jobs. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think XU is a good player, and he showed up and impressed me, impressed pretty much everyone who's watching him, to be honest. I didn't expect much from an academy jungler, but he held his own, and I would say on that Dignitas roster, he was one of the better players. For me, the only players on Dignitas last split between Rich, XU, Dove, Tomo, and Isles, I would say the 3 players that were performing at a good level were XU, Tomo, and Isles. And so now you're probably wondering, okay, so why are they replacing Tomo and XU when these are the 2 guys who were actually holding it down? And I think the reason why is because even though those guys, this is just a sad reality of I guess, a competitive scene, just any sort of competitive circuit is. I know this might get me a lot of flack for saying it, but I think that Spica and Sven are better than Tomo and better than Tomo and XU by a little bit. Not by a tremendous amount, but I think that they're better, and they've shown to be better, and they have a proven track record. And I think people are sad about this because XU is kind of like an up and coming American talent, like a homegrown talent. And it sucks that he got fucked over in the opportunities. Now, I feel like in a perfect world, right? I feel like in a perfect world, this is what should have happened. Rather than him being lied to his face, if Dignitas was going to upgrade, and this is all purely subjective based on whether or not you believe Spica is an upgrade, but let's say Dignitas was looking to upgrade in the jungle, the right thing to do would be to tell XU, we are potentially looking to replace you. And, you know, I know this is like really bad news, and I'm sorry that you have to hear this, but we are looking at different options for jungle. And so you are free. Like, we are going to give you permission to go out and try to find another team way in advance of the split starting, right? Not like fucking multiple days after MSI is over, but give him the chance, give him the opportunity to look for options from other teams, potentially looking to pick him up. Not like this, where it's all of a sudden and he thought he was safe and he didn't have any... How is he ever supposed to prepare for this situation, right? He's been lied to his face, told that he's been promised, and he doesn't even have permission from his team to go and find another job. So he got fucked over. And I think that's what people are upset about, which is really sad. And I don't think that it's right at all. Didn't LCS do worse to Jensen before? Like, worse has happened to many, many people. That doesn't make any of this stuff okay. It's fucked up. Because this guy was denied an opportunity to have a job for the next split. And that might just completely ruin the rest of his career. You might never see this guy ever again in the competitive scene. Imagine alternate history where the guys were actually truthful to him. Where they were just upfront to him and said, hey, you might not have a spot on Dignitas, but, you know, you might have a spot on another LCS team. We'll let you go talk to those guys. So yeah, that's why people are hating on Dig. I'll give you guys the rundown. Like, basically people are talking about like Dig is speedrunning most hated LCS team up there with FlyQuest. It's just troll. He trusted the Corpa, never trust the Corpa. Hashtag justice for XU. Yeah. Dude, this is just a, like, truly guys, like, this is just like another day in esports, but I just have to highlight how easy the fucked up nature of it could just be avoided if people were just honest with each other. It would be a lawsuit. No, this is not a lawsuit. Why is FlyQuest hated? Because they did the same shit to Jensen pretty recently. Like a few days ago, they did the same shit to Jensen after MSI. The most convenient solution for the org to not let XU explore options in case the deal with Spica fell through. Yeah, I know. Like, they had their own best interests at heart. They want a fully committed drone of a jungler to be completely unaware. They want this guy to be ignorant of the fact that they're looking to replace him, because if the negotiations, like, okay, let's say alternate history, they tell him the truth, he goes and explores options, he finds out that other teams are interested in him, and he loses trust with Dignitas. But Dignitas says, oh, actually, you know, we do want you to be our starting player. That gives that player leverage over Dignitas. It's a power thing. Like, that player now realizes Dignitas is not a trustworthy corporation, because they, well, to be honest, like, it's not that they're not trustworthy at that point. It's just like they're looking to replace him. It's at that point, I think it's not about, because he would be told the truth, but he now could potentially know that other organizations are interested in him. So the next time contract negotiations come up, he has more power. He knows, hey guys, like, I talked to Shopify, I talked to Immortals. The last time you guys gave me permission, those guys want me on their team. So I'm going to ask for a higher salary from you guys. So it does, like, that's part of the reason I think why players are lied to all the time about opportunities, and they just kind of get like suddenly blown up in their face. So yeah, I mean, it's like a bunch of reasons, but none of it is okay. Did you miss the whole Dodo drama arc? Yeah, it's funny. If he wasn't in contract with them, then he would have been looking around for more such better options. How good do you think Dig would be if they got Pobelter for mid? Ooh, Pobelter? Licorice, Spica, Pobelter, Sven, and Isles. Kind of a boomer team, not gonna lie. A little bit of Zoomer energy with Spica and Isles, but I think the team would do pretty good. I think the team would do pretty good. I mean, the same shit with Jensen, right? Boomer team. Dig is literally a dog shit organization anyways, fighting for last place every season as if it was the first. Yeah, Dignitas has not really done that much in the league. I gotta say, I feel like LCS teams that have been since the beginning. Team Liquid has some fans. TSM, C9, CLG had fans. I already said Team Liquid. Immortals even had like some fans at one point. Dignitas, I don't know if Dignitas ever really had any fans. The only time I could remember them having a decent following is when it was I'm a Cutie Pie, Scara, Kiwi Kid, Crumbs, like that era, like super OG before LCS even existed. Only when they had only mouse pads, yeah. I guess Dignitas management just can't help himself from hiring veteran players. I mean, it's their money, but it might be nice to have some kind of business vision coming into New Year, so players like XU wouldn't get randomly fucked mid-year. Yeah. It actually is funny that people are considering Spica a veteran, because I was playing with Spica as my jungler in like one of his breakout years. Like, he was a rookie in 2020 when I played with him and we won LCS together in summer. So it's like funny now. It's like, oh, Spica's a veteran. I'm like, what? Spica is a veteran? Bro, this guy's so green. He's only played in like competitive, like he's only played LCS for like 4 years, 5 years maybe. But that's a decent amount of time. He does kind of count as a vet now. This shit reminds me of like, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Advian and Mickey X thing, where people are upset with the management, but no one in their right mind should be upset at Spica. I think Spica is just coming in to do his job. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the villain in any of this stuff. Really, it's just the way that it's handled that is just really distasteful. If he's a veteran, then what am I? I'm like a fucking like multi-toured, like campaigned, grizzled vet with battle scars from 2011 when I went to Season 1 Worlds. Dinosaur. Old. It's weird. Yeah, like I read a comment too. Someone saying like neither one of those guys, neither Tomo nor XU, were the problems. Were problems on Dig. And yeah, honestly, I couldn't agree more. They were totally not problems whatsoever. In fact, they were the shining points of the team. So, you know, life is just not fair. Are players not allowed to talk business with other teams? Yeah, Alina said it. Players under contract can't talk to other teams because Riot protects their current agreement and it's counted as poaching. You are not allowed, like, if you're contracted under a team, you're not allowed to talk to anyone else about, hey, like, I would like to play with you next split. Hey, I'd like to play with you. Like you can't, you're not even, you know, you're definitely not allowed to, like, go out and reach out to organizations. And if the organizations, those general managers or, you know, staff was caught talking to you, they would be, like, in big trouble. Now, I say that, and I'll just tell you guys, just being completely blunt with you, everyone who's like been in the scene for a really long time, that shit just happens all the time anyways. You're not going to stop players from going to McDonald's together and talking about playing together in the next split if they really want to. And you know, as long as it's not like being incriminated in writing, I think it just happens. It just happens. I'm sure it happens in literally every sport ever with this whole like poaching and tampering thing. It's really just about egregious parts of it where people are getting caught. But it happens all the time. People talk about playing together even though you're not supposed to. Pro players need to have agents or middlemen. Oh, they do. Almost every pro player in LCS is an agent. GMs are like the agents do. Yeah, I mean, the agents are just like random people to these GMs. Faceless drones that represent the players. You think the GMs have an ounce of respect for any player agent? Player agent asks the GM a question, the GM will only answer if they have time and they feel like it. You know, it's not like this urgent thing. A lot of times agents are at odds with the GMs as well because like the agents are the one fighting for better contracts. You know, for example, if you were XU, maybe you would want a guarantee that you would be given notice of replacement, like or severance, like several. If you were to be replaced mid-split, like you would get paid like 3 months of your salary as severance because it was a sudden termination, or like you want a guaranteed number of stage games in spring and summer, so that you have a chance to prove yourself. There's like so many like avenues you could go down in your contract. The agent's like fighting for the player, the GM's fighting for the org, and it really just comes down to like who has the bigger dick in the conversation and more leverage and money.